Marcus Chen wiped the grease from his hands with a rag that had seen better days, his fingers still trembling from the adrenaline of the morning's disaster. The small apartment above the garage felt smaller than ever. As he stared at the eviction, notice on the kitchen table, 14 days to come up with 3 months. Back rent or he and his daughter Emma would be on the street. He'd been called a genius once, had patents with his name on them, had stood in boardrooms where his ideas shaped the future. Now he fixed lawnmowers and changed oil in decade-old sedans, and even that wasn't enough. The fall from grace hadn't just broken him, it had shattered everything he thought he knew about his worth, his purpose, and whether the world had any place left for a man who'd lost it all. The doorbell of Chen's Auto Repair chimed at exactly 4:47 p.m. on a Tuesday that felt like any other. Marcus looked up from the engine he was rebuilding, a 1998 Honda Accord that belonged to Mrs. Patterson down the street, and froze. The woman standing in his garage wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than his monthly rent. Her heels clicked against the oil-stained concrete as she stepped inside, her eyes scanning the cramped space with what Marcus immediately read as judgment. He recognized her instantly. Vanessa Hartwell, CEO of Hartwell Technologies, the very company where he'd once been lead engineer before everything collapsed. "Can I help you?" Marcus kept his voice neutral, turning back to the engine. His heart hammered against his ribs. "Marcus Chen?" Her voice was crisp, professional. "I've been looking for you." "You found me." He didn't look up. "If you're here to rub salt in old wounds, the door's right behind you." 5 years ago, Marcus had been on top of the world. His revolutionary battery design had been on the verge of transforming the electric vehicle industry. Then his wife, Sarah, got sick. Stage 4 lymphoma that came out of nowhere and moved like wildfire. He'd taken leave to care for her, to be there for Emma, who was only 3 at the time. When Sarah died 8 months later, Marcus returned to find his project had been handed to someone else. Devastated and angry, he'd made accusations, burned bridges, and walked out. The patents went to the company. His reputation crumbled. No one in the industry would touch him. "I'm not here for that," Vanessa said quietly. "May I sit?" Marcus gestured to a battered folding chair without looking at her. He heard the hesitation before she sat, and it confirmed everything he'd thought. She was slumming it, probably checking a box on some corporate redemption tour. "Your daughter," Vanessa began. "Emma, she's 8 now." Marcus's hands stilled on the wrench. "How do you know about my daughter?" "Because she wrote to me." Vanessa pulled an envelope from her briefcase. "Every month for the past 6 months. Marcus finally turned around. The envelope was decorated with crayon, drawings, flowers and stars, and a crude sketch of what might have been a rocket ship. His throat tightened. Vanessa opened it carefully and pulled out a letter written in a child's careful handwriting. "Dear Miss Hartwell," she read aloud. "My name is Emma Chen, and my daddy used to work for you. He doesn't know I'm writing this. He's sad a lot, but pretends he isn't. He fixes things for people even when they can't pay. Mrs. Patterson's car, Mr. Jenkins' wheelchair, the community center's heater. He says helping is what matters, but we might lose our home. Could you please give him his job back? He's really smart. Love, Emma." Marcus's vision blurred. He turned away quickly, gripping the edge of the workbench. "There are 6 letters," Vanessa continued softly. "Each one telling me about something kind you did. The single mother whose transmission you fixed for free. The veteran whose prosthetic you repaired without charge. You're hemorrhaging money, Marcus, but you can't stop helping people. Why are you here?" Marcus's voice came out rough. "Because I was wrong." The words hung in the air. "When you left, I was VP of Operations, not CEO. I believed the story they told, that you'd become unstable, unreliable. I didn't question it. I should have." Marcus turned around slowly. Vanessa was looking at him with something he hadn't expected. Regret. "Last year I became CEO. I started reviewing old projects, and I found yours. The original designs, the notes, everything. Marcus, your battery technology, it's extraordinary. We've been trying to replicate it for 5 years, and we can't get close. But more than that, I found the internal emails. I saw what really happened." She stood up, and Marcus noticed her hands were shaking slightly. "While you were caring for your dying wife, Richard Thornton was sabotaging your project. He wanted the credit, and he knew you were vulnerable. He falsified reports, planted evidence of instability, convinced the board you were a liability. By the time I saw the truth, he'd moved to a competitor. You were right about everything, and we destroyed you for it. The garage was silent except for the hum of the fluorescent lights. I can't give you back the years, Vanessa said. I can't bring back your wife or undo what we put you through. But I can offer you something. Chief Innovation Officer at Hartwell Technologies. Full restoration of credit for your original work. A salary that will make sure Emma never has to worry about losing her home. And she paused. I'm personally establishing a scholarship fund in Sarah's name for children who've lost parents to cancer. Marcus felt something crack open inside his chest. Why now? Why not a year ago when you found out? Because I was afraid, Vanessa admitted. Afraid you'd sue us into oblivion. Afraid of the publicity. Afraid of admitting how badly we failed you. But then I got Emma's letters and I realized you're not angry. You're just trying to survive, while still being the man your daughter can be proud of. That kind of integrity. She shook her head. I couldn't find that in 100 corporate headhunters. You thought I looked down on you when you walked in here, she continued. I saw it in your face. The truth? I was terrified. Because you're everything I'm supposed to be, and I'm not sure I've ever been someone who puts people before profit, who leads with compassion, who sacrifices without counting the cost. Marcus wiped his eyes roughly. I thought you were judging me. The grease, the tiny garage, all of it. I was judging myself, Vanessa said, wondering how I let the system eat someone like you alive. The door to the back stairs burst open and Emma ran in, backpack bouncing, her face lighting up when she saw the visitor. Miss Hartwell, you came! Did you get my letters? Did you? She stopped, looking between them. Daddy, are you crying? Marcus pulled his daughter into a hug, holding her tight. Happy tears, princess. Happy tears. Vanessa knelt down to Emma's level. Your daddy doesn't need me to give him his job back. Emma, he never lost what made him great. But if he wants it, there's a place for him. And there's a place for you. Too, our company has the best childcare program in the state. Emma looked up at Marcus with hope blazing in her eyes. He thought about pride, about the walls he'd built around his heart, about the man he'd been and the man he'd become. He thought about Sarah, who'd always said the only failure was refusing to try again. One condition, Marcus said. The community center. Mrs. Patterson, the families here who can't afford repairs. We set up a program. Hartwell Technologies sponsors a community garage. Free repairs for those who need them. We hire people who've been counted out, train them, give them a second chance. Vanessa smiled. A real smile that transformed her face. Done. You're already thinking like a chief innovation officer. That night, after Emma was asleep, Marcus sat at the kitchen table and tore up the eviction notice. He pulled out the photo of Sarah he kept in his wallet. Her smile forever frozen in happier times. She's just like you, he whispered to the picture. Brave enough to ask for help when I was too stubborn to see we needed it. 6 months later, Marcus stood in front of the newly opened Chen Community Garage, Emma's hand in his as Vanessa cut the ribbon. The building gleamed with fresh paint. The bays filled with equipment and staffed by people who'd been where he'd been down but not out. In the crowd, he saw Mrs. Patterson, Mr. Jenkins, the single mothers and struggling families he'd helped. They were cheering, not because he'd been restored to his old glory, but because he'd never forgotten them even when he had nothing. Vanessa had been wrong about one thing. Marcus hadn't just survived. He'd planted seeds of kindness in scorched earth, and now they were blooming into something neither of them could have imagined. Emma tugged his hand. Daddy, Ms. Hartwell said I was brave for writing those letters, but I was really scared. Marcus knelt down, looking into his daughter's eyes. The bravest thing you can do is ask for help when someone you love is hurting. You saved us, princess. No, Emma said with the wisdom of someone far older than 8. We saved each other. That's what families do. As the sun set over the community garage, Marcus realized she was right. Redemption hadn't come from reclaiming his old life. It had come from the people who'd witnessed his lowest moment and valued him anyway. From a daughter who refused to let her father disappear. From a CEO who chose courage over comfort. He'd been lost, but he'd never really been alone. And sometimes that makes all the difference.